right, so this is week one of our review and our next steps for beginning bridge class. And so what we do in these is go over what we covered the previous week. You have a chance to ask questions if you didn't understand something before. And also it allows people who had to miss the class to either attend live or to watch it later on the recording, because this recording will be sent out to everybody later this evening. It takes a while for the recording to transfer up to YouTube. So, but everybody will be notified later today about that. Okay, so let's, since I've been away for this for several months, I have to refresh myself of how we do everything. So let's go first of all to the syllabus. Okay, here we are, because I just want to remind people about how the class is going to work. We're going to be meeting for the next 4 weeks on Wednesday from 10 until 12. Week one, here's what the schedule was. The schedule's already changed. But week one, we were going to go over review of the bridge basics, bridge scoring, reverses, opening strong hands, the 2-club bid, and slam tries. That's the ace asking bids. Then week two, again, we have a review. We're going to review competitive bidding. Then we're going to talk about opening leads, opening hands, because what you learned in beginning bridge is not the whole story. There's more to it. We'll learn about that. Then we're going to talk about Jacoby, 2-no trump, and splinters. Week three, reverses, a review of Stayman and transfers over no trump. And then Smolin, which is a no trump bid, a thing called losing trick count, and then a thing called don't, which is disturbing opponent's no trump. And it is a way to combat no trump bids. And then in the last week, we will talk about several tools that you can add to your toolkit. Everything up until this point, with the exception of Smolin, you should know and be doing at the end of this class. In week four, we're going to discuss several things that you might or might not want to add to your toolkit. But since most people play them, and Michael's an unusual no trump is standard American, so you should probably know that. So anyway, that's what we're doing in week four. All right, so let's look first at, I should say we are already behind schedule because at this week's class, we did not do reverses. We only did half of opening strong hands, and we did not do slam tries. So what we did was the review, bridge scoring, and part of the 2-club. So that's all I'm going to cover today. So everybody will be at the same point when we start class on Wednesday of next week. Okay, so first I want to look at just a review of bridge basics so that we can all make sure we are on the same page, that we all agree on what standard American or bridge basics are that we all know. So the first part of this handout that you got is for openers, what you do to open. And we know that we have priorities for opening bids. We prefer to open one no trump if we can. If we have a one no trump hand, we open one no trump. A one no trump hand is 15 to 17 and balanced. And balanced means no more than one doubleton. If we can't open one no trump, then we open one of a major suit. That's our second preference. But for that, we have to have 5 cards in the suit. We're promising 5 cards if we open a heart or a spade. Incidentally, if we have 2 5-card major suits, we always bid the higher of 2 5-card suits. 4-card suits, we bid up the line. 5-card suits, we bid the higher. Then the last option is to bid your best minor suit. That's if you can't bid a no trump and you can't open a major suit, then you'll open your best minor suit. If you're equal length in your minor suits, With 4-4, you'll open double diamonds, and with 3-3, you'll open clubs. So that's just the general rules for opening. And if you open one of something, one club, one diamond, one heart, one spade, or one no trump, you're somewhere between 12 and 21 points. Because as we know, if you've got more than 21 points, 2 clubs is the bid you make, the artificial bid you make to indicate that. And we're going to talk about that more in just a minute. So you'll open at the 1 level. Then, unless your partner has made a limiting response when they respond to you, then you will make your second bid, will limit your hand in some way or start describing the strength of your hand. So in general, you will open one of something, and then your second bid will either be, if you're in this range, you'll make a minimum bid. If you're a little bit better, 16 to 18, you'll make a medium bid. And 19 or 21, you can either jump shift, although fewer and fewer people are doing that now. They just bid a new suit without jumping, because although that's not totally forcing, it is pretty forcing. So anyway, the responder, because of this, because the opener bids, the responder bids, and then the opener has to take a second bid to describe their hand, most frequently the responder is the first one who has an idea about where the contract should be. When we're bidding back and forth, we're always trying to figure out how high should we go and where do we belong, what suit or no trump. So I'm going to drop down now and look at the responder. That's the bottom part of this page. Just like the openers had priorities for what to bid, the responder has priorities. Their first priority is to raise a major suit if partner has bid a major suit and they have support. So that's the first thing they want to do if they can do it. The second priority is, if they can't do that, the second priority is to bid their own major suit. They don't have their own major suit, then their third priority is, if their hand is sort of balanced, to bid the appropriate level of no trump. 1, 2, 3, no trump. And we'll talk in a minute about what level. Then the last priority, if you can't do any of those other things, the last thing that you do is you raise your partner's minor suit. Now, because partner has bid with, usually if they open a diamond, they have 4. Frequently, if they've opened a club, they only have 3. Then you need to have at least 4 diamonds for support and 5 clubs for support. If you don't have that, you bid the appropriate level of no trump. So we'll look down here at the 2 categories. The first one, or the little chart we have here, the first column is for major openers. The opener opened a major suit and you have support. This tells you what to do. With 0 to 5, you pass. With 6 to 9, you raise to 2. 10 to 12, you raise to 3. And 13 or more, you don't just jump to game. Usually you bid a new suit. And I'm sorry, I just noticed that this handout is not the most current version. You got in class the most current version, and I'm going to send out a revised version to everybody, because what this one doesn't mention, what should be mentioned, is if you have a minimum hand, 6 to 9 points, and you've got 5 or more of your partner's suit, you just jump to game. That's called the weak freak. We talked about that in basic. You guys probably remember that. And that should show up right here. It should say raise to 2 or jump to game with the weak freak. And because of that, when you have 13 or more, you don't just raise to game. That shouldn't be there. You bid a new suit, then you jump to game, or explore slam, whichever is more appropriate. Okay, If your partner did not open a major suit, or if your partner opened a major suit and you don't have support for it. So either a minor opener or a major suit that you don't have support for. Then again, 0 to 5, you pass. 6 to 9, you can bid a new suit at the 1 level, or you bid 1 no trump. So if partner bid a diamond, you're free to bid a heart or a spade with just a minimum hand, 6 to 9. It doesn't promise extra points. But if you would have to go to the 2 level, your partner bid 1 heart, and you would have to bid 2 diamonds if you wanted to bid. For that, as you know, you need 10 points, 10 or more points to do that. So if you bid a new suit, you're promising 10 points. So your first priority is to bid 2 no trump, and 2 no trump means at this range, it's 10 to 12 points. So 1 diamond, 2 no trump is 10 to 12 points. With 13 or more points, you can bid 3 no trump, or you can just bid a new suit. If you bid 1 no trump, 2 no trump, or 3 no trump, those are all limiting bids. They limit your hand. 1 no trump limits it to 6 to 9, 2 no trump, 10 to 12, 3 no trump, 13 plus.
Keep that in mind.
You're also limiting your hand if you do a direct raise. If it goes 1 heart, 2 hearts, it's direct raise. It means 6 to 9. 1 heart, 3 hearts is 10 to 12. So, and that limits your hand. If the responder limits their hand, then the opener does not have to bid again, because now the opener knows what level you're at and probably where you belong. The opener may bid again if they want to, but they are now in charge, because once the responders limited their hand, the opener is going to know how high to go. They may not know yet where to go, and so may need to keep bidding, but he's going to know how high. So the responder, after they've limited their hand, should never push their partner higher than what their partner makes them bid. If, though, the hand is not limited, any new bid is what's called a forcing bid. A forcing bid is generally a new suit at the 2 level. A non-forcing bid is how you limit your hand by raising your partner's suit, rebidding your own suit, or bidding no trump at the lowest level. All of these are non-forcing limiting bids, both for opener and for responder. Okay, so let's put some of this together. And hang on. I'm going to share another screen with you here. Okay, let's look over here on this side. And the bid, can you guys see this well enough? Hang on, let me see how I can, if I can see how to, can you see this number 1 over here where it says 1 heart, 2 hearts, 4 hearts? Or do I need to make this larger? Hello? Can you see
We can
it?
see it.
You can see it. Okay, all right. Okay, so then let's take this first bid. I open 1 heart, partner bids 2 hearts. What do we know about the 1 heart bid?
13 to 21.
13 to 21. What does the 2 heart bid say?
10 points.
6 to 8.
Yeah, 6 to 9 or 10.
Okay.
And support for hearts. So at least 3 hearts. Then the opener bids 4 hearts. What do we know about the opener's hand?
He has extra points and
How many
6
extra
hearts.
points do you think? What do you think he's got?
18?
18, might have 17, maybe even 16, but 18 plus is usually what you need because two no trump could be just 6 points. I mean, two hearts could be just 6 points. So in that case, you probably encourage with 3 hearts. So he's got a really strong hand. He's bid 4 hearts. Let's look at this next example. The opener says 1 spade. Responder says 3 spades. What do we know about that hand?
6 to 8 points. And
3 spades.
3 spades.
Yeah, 1 spade, 3 spades. 1 spade, well, two spades, as we described earlier, 2 hearts with 6 to 9 points. 3 spades is the next rung up, 10 to 12. It's called a limit raise. 10 to 12 points, a limit raise. And in this case, the opener passed. So we must know here that opener had a minimum hand because his partner has 10 or 12, somewhere in their points. He probably only has 12 or 13 points. And unless partner has 12 points to his 13, they don't have game. So that shows a very weak hand by the opener. Okay, here's another example. 1 heart, 1 spade. 1 spade shows at least 4 spades and 6 points. It really doesn't show anything else because even if partner had heart support, he might not bid it right away because maybe that 1 spade hand could have an opening hand and hearts. He just is not going to jump to game, but he does have 4 spades, so he bids 1 spade. Now the opener bids 2 spades. So what do we know about this 2 spade hand? What does it tell us?
Should have at least 3.
Well, his partner just promised 4. So I would assume he has 4 spades.
Oh, okay.
Okay. And point wise, what would I expect that 2 spade bidder to have? The opener, when he supports partner suit like that.
10 to 12.
Medium, like 16, 18?
Now that is a minimum hand. If you rebid your suit, raise your partner suit, or bid no trump at the lowest level, you were limiting your hand to the minimum hand. So
Oh,
that 2 spade bid means I've got 4 spades and I'm a minimum hand. Okay.
okay.
Then the responder bids 4 spades. So what do we know about the responder's hand now? What amount of points would we expect him to have? He has now gone to game, and his partner had a minimum opening hand. So we'd expect him to have about 13 or more points because he went to game. His partner had 13. He's got 13. He knew he belonged in game. When he made this first bid of 1 spade, he just didn't know where they belonged in game. But once partner bids 2 spades, now they've got spades between them. And I want to point out that even if this 1 heart person had had 6 hearts and so could rebid his hearts, once partner bids spades and they have a spade fit, the opener accepts that and doesn't continue to try to find a fit for his hearts. Once you've found a major suit fit, don't go back and try to find another one. Okay, then let's look at this example. Opener bids 1 diamond. That means he's got at least, should have 4 diamonds, might have 3, but most likely has 4. Probably does not have a 5-card major. Then the responder bids 1 heart. That says he's got at least 4 hearts and 6 points, and that's all we know about his hand right now. That is an unlimited hand. Then opener bids 1 no trump. So what do we know? We now know several things about the opener's hand. What do we know?
He
How many-
doesn't have spades. He doesn't really have support for hearts.
Right, he does not have 4 spades. If he did, he would have bid him. He does not have 4 hearts. If he did, he would have raised him. He doesn't have a long diamond suit. If he did, he would have rebid his diamond suit. He has a minimum pretty balanced hand, and so he bids 1 no trump. That limits his hand. Now the responder, the original responder, bids 3 hearts. So what do we think about that hand? Partner has limited his hand to 1 no trump. So he has at the most 15, and probably more like 13 or 14, maybe even 12. So when partner jumps, when the responder jumps in their suit, they're saying, partner, I've got extra points. I know you don't have a lot of points, but are you at the top of your bid or are you at the bottom of your bid? If you're at the top, bid on. I just can't really do it by myself. So I would assume that the 3 heart bidder has about 12 points, 11, 12 points. He doesn't have quite enough to know that he can go to game. But and he knows that partner doesn't have very much, but if partner has 14 or 15 with his 12, that's a game. So that's why he bids 3 hearts and partner goes, okay, 4 hearts, I had 14 points or 15 points. Okay. Then let's look at this example. 1 diamond opening, same as before. Partner bids 1 no trump. What do we know about that hand? They don't have 4 hearts. They don't have 4 spades. They don't have 4 diamonds, but they've got 6 to 9 or 10 points. That's what we know about that hand. They have enough to respond, but they don't have anything else to say. And they don't have enough points to go to the 2 level, because if they don't have 4 diamonds, they don't have 4 hearts, and they don't have 4 spades, they are likely to have some clubs, just because they don't have any other suit. They've got 13 cards. So they probably have 4 or maybe more, 5, 6 clubs. Anyway, then their partner rebids 2 diamonds. That tells us they don't have to bid again because 1 no trump is a limiting hand. The opener now knows their total points. So they could pass, but apparently they have a nice diamond suit. I would expect probably they have 6 diamonds to do this. If they only had 5, and definitely if they had 4, they'd probably just leave it at 1 no trump. So they probably have a singleton, doubleton, maybe a void, and some nice diamonds, and they would rather try to play 2 diamonds than 1 no trump. Okay, the last thing then is opening of 1 diamond, and then responder bids 2 no trump. 2 no trump. Anytime responder bids a no trump, 1 no trump is 6 to 9, 2 no trump is 10 to 12, 3 no trump is 13 to 15. So this 2 no trump bid says, I've got a balanced hand, 10 to 12 points. I don't have 4 hearts and I don't have 4 spades, because I would bid those if I had those. And so partner then bids 3 no trump. That means that he's got a little bit extra. He's probably got 15, 16, 17 or more points of his own. And so he likes the no trump bid. He must have a pretty balanced hand. And so he bids 3 no trump. Okay, questions on any of those? Those are all our basic bidding things, which we've known for a while. Just wanted to review. Okay, then. Let's go over and look at oh, that's not where I want to go. Let's look at our bridge scoring. Duplicate bridge scoring.
Other people.
In general, there are 2 parts to scores. First is the trick score. The second is the bonus points. For the tricks, that is how many points you get per trick. The bonus points are how many points you get for the level that you bid to. So if you bid clubs or diamonds, those are worth 20 points each. Hearts and spades are worth 30 points each. No trump is 40 for the first one and 30 for everyone after that. And if they're doubled, this shows what it is. And if they're redoubled, it shows what it is. Doubled is just twice, redoubled is 4 times. You'll notice that if you make an over trick, if your contract is not doubled, it's just the normal trick value, the 20, 30, or 40, 30 for no trump. If it's doubled, it becomes a lot greater. This is why you do not double contracts at a low level, because if you double 2 hearts and somebody plays 2 hearts doubled and makes 3 or 4 hearts, not only have you doubled them to game, but they get 100 points if they're not vulnerable, 200 points if they are vulnerable for every trick they made over what they bid. So it's very dangerous to double at a low level. We double for takeout doubles or negative doubles or all that, but those are not for penalty. So those shouldn't be left in. Those should be taken out. And that's why it's important that your partner respond when you've made a double at a low level, because it doesn't mean they want to penalize it. It has another meaning. Then the bonus points are 50 points for a part score. So if you don't bid game, you get your trick score plus 50 points. That's for a part score, either vulnerable or non-vulnerable. If you've bid a game, you get your trick score plus 300 if you're not vulnerable, 500 if you are vulnerable. And I want to point out that you'll notice that clubs or diamonds are 20 points each, and the game level for those is the 5. 5 clubs or 5 diamonds is game level. The reason for that is because you get the game bonus score if you reach 100 points in your trick score. So if you've bid 5 clubs or 5 diamonds and make it, that's 5 times 20 is 100. That's a game, so you get the game bonus. Hearts or spades, it's 4 times 30, 120. So you've reached 100. 3 times 30 is only 90. So that's not a game. For no trump, 40 plus 30 plus 30 is 100. So any of the trick scores, once they reach 100, that is, you get the game bonus. But you have to have bid it in order to get the game bonus. If you've bid a slam, which is 6 plus, that's a 6 or more is a small slam. 7 is the grand slam. This gets added in addition to the game bonus. So a slam is for not vulnerable, you would get 300 for the game plus 500 for the slam. If you're vulnerable, 500 for the game bonus, 750 for the slam. And you'll see that a grand slam, which we hardly ever do, but you sometimes do, it's 1,000 and 1,500, quite a few points. If you go down, It's listed down here, what happens when you go down. If you're not doubled, it's just plain go down. If you're not vulnerable, it's 50 each. If you're vulnerable, it's 100 each. When you're doubled, though, it makes a significant difference because the first trick is 100, but then the second and third tricks are 200 each, and each succeeding trick is 300. And it's even more if you're vulnerable, 200, then 300 for each of the next two, then 300 for the rest. So it's a little bit the same. The 300 stays. So this means for doubling, not vulnerable, the penalties are down 1 is 100, down 2 is 300, down 3 is 500, down 4 is 800. So it's not just what you would think it is. Now, you don't need to remember any of this because we've got two things going for us. We've got number one, the bridge mates, which we always use at the Bridge Center. So when you put the score in, the contract in and the result, BridgeMate will tell you what the score is. So you don't have to know how to score. If you're not using BridgeMates, but you have a bridge box in front of you, a bidding box in front of you, on the back of each of the cards for whatever you bid. If you bid 4 hearts, you look over at the back of the 4 heart card and it will tell you what the score is if you made your contract. If you did not make your contract, you look at the back of the pass card. And if the contract was doubled and was not made, you look at the back of the double card. So anyway, I think it's important, though, that you know what bridge scoring is, because it helps you make decisions about, should I stretch for game? Should I maybe sacrifice and know that I'm going to go down, but I know I'm only going to lose 50 or 100 points, and the opponents can make their game, and so they're going to get 600 points. So, it helps you make those kind of decisions if you know how the scoring works. So that's why we spend some time talking about scoring, even though you don't have to know how to do it, because you can easily see on the bridge mates or on the bidding box what the score is. Questions about any of that?
Pretty straightforward.
All right. Then let's move on. Oh, well, why don't just for the heck of it, why don't we do look at a few examples. Okay. Let's look at this first one over here. 1 spade making 3. What would be the score for that?
30.
We've got the spades are worth 30 points each. And
So 90 plus
Right.
50 for the partial.
Exactly. So 140 would be the score for that. 3 times 30 is 90, plus the part score bit bonus of 50. So the trick score is 90, the bonus score is 50. Let's look at the next one. 4 spades making 4. Spades are again 30. So 4 times 30 is 120 for the trick score. But here we have a game. We have bid a game and made a game. So we're going to add either 300 if it's not vulnerable or 500 if it is vulnerable. So the score will be either 420 or 620, depending on whether it's vulnerable. All right, let's look at another one. 6, no trump, making 6.
Plus
Okay, say it. 240
240
plus
plus.
500.
Yeah. Yeah.
Is that right?
Well, that's not enough.
240.
The trick score is
Well, plus the game. You get the game too.
right,
So
exactly.
that
the trick score is 100 plus 3 times 30
240.
is, no, 3 times 30, it's 100 plus 3 times 30 is 90, 190.
Yeah,
Six-
plus 50. Oh, no, there's no part score.
Right,
190.
exactly, no
Sorry.
part score. So 180 in trick score, 180, plus the
One-
game, if you're not vulnerable, 300, plus the slam bonus of 500. So it would
Ooh.
be 180, 300, and 500. So
But
1080.
Sally, isn't it
Yes.
190 because the first trick is 40?
Well, the
On no
first
trump?
trick is 40. Then in this case, the next 5 tricks are 30.
Right.
So that's 190.
190, yeah.
That's why I thought 190.
It is 190. What did I say? It is 190.
Okay.
I always look at it as 3 no trump is 100. And then I add 30 for everyone over that. So there's 3 over. It should be 90,
Okay.
190. If I didn't say that, I'm sorry. It is 190. Yeah. Okay. If you were vulnerable, it would be 190 plus 500 plus 1,000, 1,500 plus 190. Okay. Then down 3 hearts, down 1 would be
3 hours, 30, 60.
Minus 50
minus
or minus
50
100.
or minus 100, depending on if you're vulnerable or not vulnerable. 4 hearts, down 3.
Oh, stick it to me.
Well, they're either 50 or 100 each, depending on if you're vulnerable or not. So that would be either 150 or 300, depending on whether or not you were vulnerable. And then the last one, 4 hearts doubled, down 2.
Oh, gosh.
I gotta get this one up nice.
Is it 100, 300 for the?
Yes,
Yeah, okay,
If
so
it is-
minus 400?
yes. If it is not vulnerable, it is 300. If you're vulnerable, it's 500. Okay. All right. So you guys have a good grasp on that. Okay. Then let's go on to strong opening bids. All right.
Just make it bigger.
We've talked about since the beginning bridge, that if you open at 1 of something, you were somewhere between 12 and 21 points. And we said that if you have more than that, you bid 2 clubs. 2 clubs and generally means just an artificial bid. It just says I've got a really strong hand. And generally it means 22 or more. But we're going to see that it may mean a little bit less than that. And sometimes you may have a little bit more than that and not bid 2 clubs. But just the general thing is it's 22 or more points. If you open anything other at the 2 level, 2 diamonds, 2 hearts, or 2 spades, that has a special meaning. That means less than an opening hand and 6 cards in the suit. So we kind of reserved this 2 club just to be strong. Originally in bridge, years ago when I first learned bridge, all of the 2 bids were strong bids. 2 clubs was strong clubs. 2 hearts was strong in hearts. 2 spades was strong in spades, but they figured out that we have more use to make, in other words, we wind up more often with a 2 heart opening bid, where it means less than opening hand and 6 hearts, than we do when we have 22 points and hearts as our suit. So that's why they decided to save the 2 diamonds, 2 hearts, and 2 spades to have a special meaning, less than opening hand and 6 in the suit. And 2 clubs is just artificial strong hand. Now, because it's artificial, your partner must bid. So if you bid 2 clubs, even if your partner has a lot of clubs and thinks clubs is a good place to play, they cannot pass, because you might have 0 clubs. Your 2 club bid says nothing about clubs, and it says I've got a really strong hand. So you, even if you have clubs, you want to bid and find out how high you belong and really what suit you belong in, because your partner might have a really strong suit of their own. So you can never pass 2 clubs, ever. Even if you have 0 points, you don't pass 2 clubs. Then it mentions if you have an unbalanced hand, that means you have at least 6 in the suit. You can open 2 clubs if you were 1 trick shy of game in your hand, even if you don't have 22 points. So basically 2 clubs, although we say it means 22 points, and it can just mean 22 points, it can also mean that you've got a really good suit and you can see that you have game in your own hand, just missing 1 trick, or actually game in your, sometimes you actually have game in your hand. Then you still open 2 clubs.
Sally,
Yeah,
I mean, you're saying the partner must bid, but then it says here on that sheet, responses to 2 club openings, you
Yes.
should have 8 points.
yes. That is,
So-
look at, you're only reading the first line of that.
Oh,
See the second line, 8 points in balance, bid 2 no trump, with all other hands bid 2 diamonds.
oh, okay.
So you
So if
cannot
you
pass.
don't have 8 points, then you bid 2 diamonds.
Right, yes. And we're going to talk about, because we didn't talk about that last week. So we're going to talk about that next week. Because all the, it's just as far as we got on Wednesday was through this talking about when you open 2 clubs. So that's all I'm going to talk about today. But we will talk about those responses on Wednesday. Okay, now with a balanced hand, so a no trump kind of hand, you bid 2 clubs first, then you bid 2 no trump with 22 or 20 to 24. So it would be like 2 clubs by you, 2 diamonds by your partner, 2 no trump. Shows balanced hand 22 to 24. 3 no trump is 25 to 27. 4 no trump I've never seen, hasn't happened, don't worry about it. Usually it's either 2 no trump, occasionally it's 3 no trump. If you have the balanced hand, and so if it goes 2 clubs, 2 diamonds, or 2 anything by partner, 2 no trump, stamen and transfers are on. So if it goes 2 clubs, 2 diamonds by my partner, 2 no trump by me, 3 clubs by my partner says, do you have a 4-card major? 3 diamonds by my partner is a transfer to hearts. 3 hearts is a transfer to spades. In other words, the systems are on just like they would be if you had a no trump bid.
Okay.
What do you do if you bid 3 clubs?
Well,
So,
you
Sally,
can't, what, Ken?
what do you do? What if you do if you bid 3 clubs? What does that tell
If
you?
you bid 3 clubs, when? If it goes 2 clubs, 2 diamonds, 3 clubs by me,
Right?
that means I've got a big club suit.
Okay, I get you.
Okay, so let's look at some examples here. This first one, let's see what we've got here.
Twenty-three.
Okay, on this one, we've got 23 high card points plus 2 for length. What will we open this hand? Would we open it 2 clubs or no? The answer is yes, we would open it 2 clubs. We have 22 or more points and we've got a good heart suit. So we know that we've got a strong heart suit bid, but we open 2 clubs. The next one right here. Let's look at this one. Here we have 22 high card points plus 1 extra for length. So we've got 23 points. We open this one,
Yes.
2 clubs.
Yes.
The answer is yes, we would.
You
That's
have
a
to-
strong,
Reach.
too strong to open 1 of something. So we need to open 2. Okay, let's look at this next one. Here we have 19 high card points plus 1 for length. So what would we open this?
1 spade.
Yes, this is not quite strong enough for 2 clubs. We could open this 2 clubs if we could count up in our hand that we're 1 trick shy of game, but we can't do that here because, you know, we have 2, probably 3 spades for sure. We've got 1 diamond, 1 club. That's not strong enough to say we're 1 trick shy of game just in our hand. So we just open this as usual, 1 spade. Then let's look at this one. This one we have 22 high card points. What would we open this? Okay, here's the problem on this one. We have 22 high card points. So technically we can bid 2 clubs with this, but it's going to be hard to find where you belong with this hand because you've got 2 4-card majors. You've just got 4 clubs. You don't have a good suit. So you're not too sure where you belong. And so with a hand like this, I would open this 1 club. Partner might pass. If partner passes, well, you know, that could be bad, but more often I would rather find out where we belong. So I think you should think about a hand like this rather than just bidding 2 clubs. When you're not sure where the hand should be played, I mean, if my partner has 4 hearts or 4 spades, we should be playing in the major suit. If my partner has diamonds, we should be playing no trump. If my partner has no points, we probably don't have a game anyway. So if they pass me at 1 club, you know, I will. Now,
So Sally,
if I was
is
gonna say,
it,
well, hang on a second, Christiane, if this bothers you, you know, if it is okay to bid 2 clubs with this hand. If you don't feel confident enough about saying, I don't know where to go with this hand, you can bid 2 clubs with this hand. It's not wrong. But just as you can bid it, you can also not bid it. Christiane, what were you going to ask?
well, I was going to say the reasoning behind opening, excuse me, was 1 club. Is it because you don't have a ready rebid?
Right, right. I don't know where we belong. I don't know where we belong. And if my partner makes any bid, they've got 6 points and we for sure have a game somewhere. The truth is, though, if I've got 22 points, that's a lot of points. My partner usually doesn't have a lot of points. I only need him to have 3 or 4 points to have game. But if I only open 1 club, they can pass. That's the danger of not bidding 2 clubs with this hand. So sometimes when you do this, you're going to miss out on a game that other people who routinely bid 2 clubs are going to find. On the other hand, when you don't do this, when you do bid one club instead of two clubs, a lot of times you wind up at a lot better contract than somebody who bid two clubs and couldn't figure out where to go with this hand. So it can go either way. But on this one, I would either bid one club or two clubs. Okay, let's look at this one. This one, we have 18 high card points plus 2 for length. So we've got 20 points. So what would we do with this hand? We don't
Spade.
have 22 points.
Mhm.
One spade.
One spade. Well, here's the thing with this one's kind of the converse of the other one where we don't know where to go. With this hand, we can count reasonably 6 spade tricks and 3 heart tricks. We might not get 6 spade tricks, but the odds are that we will, unless there's a 4-0 split, you know,
Mhm.
then we're with four to the jack in one hand, we're gonna get all 6 of those tricks. Plus 3 hearts is 9 tricks. And remember we said if we are 1 trick shy of game in our hand, we can open 2 clubs. So even though you don't have 22 points here, kind of the opposite of the other one, I would open this one 2 clubs. Because I know we belong in spades. Or possibly hearts. If my partner has points in hearts, we might wind up there, but spades, that's a solid spade suit. So I would bid 2 clubs with that hand and wait to see what my partner has to say. Okay. Again, if you open that 1 spade and not 2 clubs, that's fine. Especially as you're learning in bridge, you know, sometimes it's good to just follow the rules. It's safer that way. Safer that way. Because, you know, your partner may look at that and give you a bad time because you didn't have 22 points. But, you know, your partner shouldn't. Partner should understand why you did what you did. Just doesn't always maybe work out. Especially that number 4 where you don't open 2 clubs when most other people are going to be opening 2 clubs. Sometimes that doesn't work out.
Hey, Sally,
Yeah, Ken.
on that example, if I open with 1 spade and my partner says 2 hearts and it's my turn to bid, would we go to 4 hearts?
We're going to do something else
Okay.
because I'm going to want partner to bid again. And see, that's another reason to bid the 2 clubs first, because it makes it hard now for me to bid. If I just jump in spades, well, I could have 16 or 18 points. If I jump in their hearts, that's not enough either. So what I'd probably bid is, well, you haven't done splinters yet, but I'd probably jump in diamonds because I only have 1 diamond, and a jump in diamonds shows a splinter, only 1 diamond in support for hearts. We'll talk about that when we get to splinters later. So that would be the good bit there. Otherwise, probably clubs. I would do something so that my partner makes another bid. You now know you want to play in hearts, but you're not sure how high you want to play in hearts. So you have to hear your partner's second bid, because 1 spade, 2 hearts promises 10 points and 5 hearts. But if you've got all of those hearts and a 6-card spade suit, you know, you probably have slam. But you do need to hear another bid from your partner before you would be sure about that. Or another alternative, I just thought of another alternative. You could bid 4 no trump. We haven't talked about the ace asking bids yet, but that could work. So 1 spade by me, 2 hearts by my partner, 4 no trump. That says, how many aces do you have, partner? And then you could decide if your partner has 1 ace. That's all you need to bid a slam, with having both hearts and spades.
No,
All right, then let's look at the last one here. Here we have 23 high card points. This one is very similar to number 4, right? Here we had 22 high card points, but this hand was not balanced. In number 6, we have 23 high card points and a balanced hand. So here we are happy to bid 2 clubs, and then after whatever our partner bids, we bid 2 no trump. That describes a 22 to 24 point balanced no trump hand. And then partner can bid statement or transfer or whatever is appropriate over that. Does that make sense? And can you see the difference between number 4 and number 6?
Mhm.
Okay. All right. Most of the time when you have 22 or more points, you just bid 2 clubs. But I just wanted to point out occasionally with 22, you won't bid 2 clubs. And occasionally, even without having 22, you may bid 2 clubs. But mostly, and to be safe, you can just always say, well, if I have 22 points, I'm bidding 2 clubs. All right, so this coming Wednesday, we will finish up this discussion because we still need to talk about the responses to the 2 club opening bids. So we're going to talk about that. And then we will, we'll just pick up a bunch of new stuff when we go to our class on Wednesday. All right,
Thank you,
guys.
Sally.
You bet. That's everything for today. And I will see you guys on Wednesday.
okay,
Thanks a lot.
thank you.
These sessions really